The modern American school system does not encompass or define learning. It is a dominant subset of it. Do you want to know why I dislike school? Homework, sure, but more important than that are these 4 ways that school trains us to fail in the real world. School teaches knowledge, but life requires wisdom. Take it from this quote from Sundara Carey. Never mistake knowledge for wisdom. One helps you make a living, the other helps you make a life. Instead of learning critical life skills on how to manage money, how to negotiate, or how to communicate, kids are mostly taught to memorize information. This is helpful to learn, but not at the cost of not learning critical life skills. Many people put these life skills on the onus of the parents to teach their kids, but not all parents are qualified to teach these lessons, and many assume that school is enough learning. The school system would be a perfect place to learn these indispensable skills. I can't give school a hall pass on this one, because it is set up as a core way that kids are prepared to live in the world. Why it is positioned as such when it lacks personal growth training, financial management training, communication training, emotional intelligence training, and healthy living training. Psychology is the closest course to any of these, but it's mostly in college and typically optional. You could come up with a few examples of where these skills are taught in school, or where some wisdom is imparted by a particularly great teacher, but this is a general problem of focus that schools have. Schools are not set up to teach us what matters most. School, a place where students suck on an information test instead of learning how to feed themselves. Here's what I would love to see changed. What do you think? 1. Classes for important life skills. Money management, interpersonal communication, miscellaneous psychology, habits, goals, etc. 2. Incorporation into existing classes. In math, talk about smart credit card usage to avoid freaking 18% interest rates, how to build credit, how to pick the right health insurance, why new cars are a horrible investment, etc. 3. Start teaching this sooner than college. Not everyone goes to college, but everyone needs to know this stuff. School is an unsuitable learning environment for many jobs. For those that say school is not the place to impart wisdom to youngsters, but to prepare them for the workplace, then why is it that it's absolutely horrible at accomplishing that? It used to be that apprenticeships were the norm. You'd learn the hands-on skills and expertise from a mature worker in the field. The downside was that back then, it was more like, hey kid, you're going to be a carpenter because that's what your family has always done. Today we have more choices, but with it has come an inferior form of learning. Most professions, even today's digitally based jobs, need hands-on training and mentorship. Programming boot camps are popping up, showing how horrible the current school model is. In 2 to 3 months, 90% or more of graduates have a job making more than $80,000 a year, within just a few months of graduation. Programming boot camps are old-school, intense apprenticeships where students learn to code from knowledgeable programmers already working in the field. It's all hands-on, real-world work, and the graduates are highly valued for the skills they possess when they enter the job market. I hope this emerging format continues to grow and expand into other areas as an alternative to college. Even if you disagree with everything I've said, competition is a good thing and will promote the improvement of schools. College claims to be the safe, sure way for a great career. It's not. Everyone must learn at some point that nobody cares much about their potential. When a company selects from a sea of faces and they all have identical or similar degrees, the value of those degrees shrinks, and they will look for the people who can do what they need to do right now. That's exactly what we're seeing, and the 2008 recession amplified it. Example: Candidate A has 95% overall potential, but can only do 15% of the job now. She must be trained. Candidate B has 63% overall potential, but can do 85% of the job right now. He's ready to go. Candidate B gets a job almost every time. Potential is exceedingly difficult to gauge accurately, and so it is often not considered by employers. The answer to "where do you see yourself in 5 years?" question doesn't quite nail down your potential. Specific job skills, however, are readily knowable by employers with observation and questioning, and are given much greater weight in the world. Whether or not you go to college and whether or not you want to work for yourself or work for a company, build skills and experience in your desired field. And if you want to be even smarter, network heavily. These things matter, they bring results. And take it from me, don't expect your diploma to get you anywhere unless you have the applicable work experience and skills to go with it. Having the ability to learn a skill doesn't mean much when your competitors already have that skill set. Grades distort our perception of reality. You can get straight A's in school, but nobody, no matter how successful, gets straight A's in life. In life, you tend to get A's by getting F's first. Lots and lots of F's. Stephen King probably still has his huge stack of publisher rejection slips. Those were real-world F's. Stephen King, one of the most successful authors in history, got dozens and dozens of F's before he got his first real-life A. School trains us to have the mindset that a given amount of effort will always bring a measurable, predictable, and successful result. The real world doesn't work like that. Colonel Sanders had 1,009 rejections he received for his chicken recipe before the first yes, and many of his rejections were humiliating, like an F- or something. If you give an A effort in school, you succeed every time. If you give an A effort in life, you're lucky to succeed on the 30th try. Successful blogger, author, and entrepreneur James Altucher said that about 17 out of his 20 businesses have failed, but the ones that did were well worth millions of dollars. There will always be talented authors whose books remain unknown, superior athletes who never get a chance, and brilliant people who remain jobless. Meanwhile, some others who are in the limelight may not be deserving of it. Unlike test grades and GPAs, life is rarely fair. The best thing about school preparing us to fail in the real world is that while you can flunk out of school, you only flunk out of life if you give up. And even better than that, it only takes one great A to succeed.